What's going on, guys? Very important message I want to talk about today, and that is the power within us. We do not know, we do know, but we forgot and we don't realize how strong we are and how much our subconscious mind affects the world around us. You know, you can see it every day. If you just spend the day analyzing your thoughts and analyzing what you're thinking about on the day-to-day basis, you would truly realize that half the time you're experiencing the experiences outside of yourself, from negative feelings, thoughts, things you don't want to happen, beliefs, all those things are coming about in your reality and what you're seeing based on what you're telling yourself inside. So for example, if I'm at the gym and I'm working out and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I don't look good. Oh, I'm weak. Oh, it's never gonna work. My body's never gonna, get shaped. I'm wasting my time, this and this and that. No matter what I'm doing outside of that, whether I'm eating correctly, whether I'm physically going there every time, because I'm not being in that being of doing it to its fullest, I'm not truly gonna reap and see the results that maybe others can see from the outside. They'll see like, oh, this guy, they're thinking in their own reality because they're thinking positively about life. They're seeing me and being like, oh wow, this guy looks good, this and that. But I'm looking at the reality. I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. So that's the own reality, whether I look good or not on the outside. Weird example I'm giving. That's gonna be your reality because that's what you're telling yourself inside. So it goes to show our subconscious mind is the vehicle that's gonna affect our conscious thoughts. So what we think subconsciously controls what we see consciously. And the conscious things are the things on the day-to-day things. Oh, this is happening, this is that, this is that. The subconscious things are the things that are just floating around in the background. And how we affect those things that are floating around in the background of our minds is by what we put into our subconscious. That's why it's important to not listen to certain music, to not spend time with certain people who are being negative, who aren't like pushing you in a direction to where you want to go in your life, in the results you want to see in your life. Because if you're on a self-development journey and you're reading, you're exercising, you're eating healthy, you're doing these things, you're trying to X certain habits, certain people, certain lifestyles out of your life, but so you're on just this trajectory, but then you're continuously hanging out with people when you're on this trajectory, you're not going to be able to continue going where you're going because you're doing all these other things, but then you're still having to recalibrate back, because every time you go back to this, whether it's negative people, family members, coworkers, whoever, you should keep affiliating there, you're pulling yourself back, and then you're holding yourself back from like ascending to where you need to be going in life, to where you need to be viewing life. Because all this whole thing, life, the whole thing is to truly reap and feel the abundance of life and the beauty of life. I can't control my heart from stop beating. I can't control my breath. I can't even control my body's doing right now to even get me to function. But what I can control is my thoughts. We all can control our thoughts. And those thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, those are all dictated by what we put in our subconscious. And our subconscious is affected by what we're consciously surrounding ourselves by, So the more and more I realize this, the more and more I realize how important it is to, one, continuously read, continuously learn. You can read one really, really good book and it could change your whole life. You could feel like you could conquer the world. But if you just read that one good book and then you go and you had some bad habits in the past, and you continue living your day-to-day life, you might feel good for a week, you might feel good for a month. But slowly over time, if you don't systematically reinvent yourself and take upon yourself new habits, you're gonna fall right back into the lifestyle you're living before. So I used to have a lot of issues, whether that was habitual drinking issues, playing too many video games, and all these things in and of themselves aren't bad, but I was using it as a distraction, scrolling, screen time, 3 hours of scrolling throughout the day, wasting time, watching shows, repeatedly watching shows, just killing time doing nothing, just having days where I'm just BSing around through conversations, going to hang out with people just to hang out because I had no hobbies or things I was striving to achieve, so I was never busy. So when I started to like actually read, and not just read, apply and practice these inner workings, like what I was reading, what I was allowing into my mind. It's not just reading anything. I'm not gonna pick up a book on a cookbook and then start getting all this gravitational knowledge. It's choosing what we read, as well as working on our health, fitness, all these things. We gotta work on our subconscious. A lot of people don't think about that. Working on the mind, the inner work, that inner work. Yes, it's good to eat healthy. Yes, it's good to have faith. Yes, it's good to have all these things and what we surround ourselves by, what we listen to. But all these things they're not, it's like the equivalent of putting on body armor, but then you're not putting on the helmet. And then you're going into battle with everyone with swords and shields and axes and whatnot. And you're protecting all these other parts of your body and how you're operating, but not the most important part, which is your head. And then you know what happens as soon as you get beheaded, you're done. You're done. So that's like a way of looking at how we need to be arming ourselves in life. We need to continuously be protecting the sphere for which our body operates. I can't get from point A to point B without my legs, without my body, yeah. But what gets it over there is my subconscious, my mind. So our minds are very fragile things, but what we see in reality is just a perpetuation of what we've been believing, putting in our subconscious, feeding into all these different things, and that's just being reflected back to us. So if we don't like our realities, what we simply need to do is start putting stuff in our mind and our subconscious that we can use to balance the scales the other way. You don't like one result, you need to put something in there that your mind can use. Yes, that's, for example, that's why if you invest in going to like a seminar, or you invest in going to like or you spend time going to like church a weekend, or you spend time doing these different things, these areas where there's positive energy, there's positive things being taught, things to focus your mind on, your subconscious on. The reason that feels so enlightening and so good when you're in that place and it's like, oh wow, I feel amazing, and you feel like you're ready to just go attack life, is because you're putting yourself in that environment. So you just gotta think, if only, so there's a 7-day work week. If only like 10% of your week in a week time, you're doing something like that, or even once in less than a blue moon, if you're sometimes going to these events that make you feel motivated and this and that, that's not enough time for you to constantly be immersed in that realm for which your subconscious can really flourish and you can truly transform. Because that's where the beginning of transformation happens, is when you're continuously putting yourself in these states, in these arenas where, okay, you, like a sponge, you can absorb these positive things in your subconscious, and it's gonna be so much to where more often than not you're in a place where, okay, I'm looking at life positively. I'm seeing the harmony of life. I'm seeing the peace. I'm seeing the love. I'm seeing the joy. I'm seeing the abundance. I'm seeing, all those things you're going to just see everywhere, because what you're feeling inside your mind, in your body, in your being, in your soul is good things, good fruit. That's what it says in the Bible. It speaks about make your thoughts have to be positive. What you focus your thoughts on is truly what you're going to see in the world. So, you know, um, that being said, not more importantly than the Bible, but more importantly than just what you put into your mind, is um, who you're surrounding yourself with. And I say this in a way to where, like, one of my biggest obstacles was, in me being an empath, a really empathetic person, when I come across something, I'm like, oh, this is a gold mine. We should all learn this. Everyone needs to know this information. When we're all on our life's journey, you know, you can, well, for me, for example, I would get really excited, really happy with these things. I want to share it. I want to, hey guys, this, and that. But when you're on your own path and other people are on their own paths, you have to walk your path and understand that you can't bring everyone on your path, and you can't walk people's path for them. We're all, just think of it, we're all like separate, different universes. And we all have this godlike characteristic within us, the spirit of God. And this spirit can only talk to us. I can't talk to someone else's spirit, and someone else's spirit can't talk to me like that. Like, I can say the most, I can cultivate the words in the most, magical, spiritual way possible, but it's up to that person to tell their subconscious mind to actively choose through their conscious actions what they're putting inside their subconscious mind to actually create that reality. I can't do it for them. I can give them the tools to do that. And this is what Christ was doing as he was going around and, preaching the gospel. He was giving people the tools to get close to enlightenment, see the kingdom of heaven within, the kingdom of heaven is within you. But, that is the key. And that's what most of the Pharisees and everyone else was missing, was the fact that they were focusing on the wrong things. They were focusing on, that's why the Pharisees were trying to stone the woman, and Jesus told them, "He without sin cast the first stone." He was trying to get them to realize the fact that we all have issues, we all have things we have to deal with, but when you're too focused on the finite way of thinking, like trying to be in control, trying to have a ring on life, you're not letting your childlike wonder, your childlike, imagination, your childlike thoughts and freedom really spring forth. So you're blocking that. It's like you're creating a blockade. So to get out of that, you must explore creative projects, do the thing you want to do, start that business, go talk to that girl, go talk to that guy, go do the freeing things without putting so much thought behind it. We were conditioned to believe and grow up believing that first you have to do this, you have to go to college, then you have to do this, X, Y, Z. Okay, wait, how is they gonna think about me? Okay, wait, what about Tom, Dick, and Harry? All these things we try to consider is the blockade to our creative expression. That is the blockade thing that's stopping us from feeling fulfilled. So it's not, busting your ass off to get this car or doing this to get over here, or okay, once I move over there, I'll be happy. It's a realization thing. Yes, relocating yourself, sometimes getting away from your current environment can help you lean into that beingness, of who you need to be. But at the end of the day, no matter where you are, unless you make the active decision, the conscious choice on a day-to-day basis to embody that, to be that person, to walk in that light and to be the light of the world, you're gonna feel like you're living a life of like, why am I here? Why is life so hard? Why am I struggling? Why am I doing this? Because you're focusing on the wrong thing. Negative things. Look at the news. Don't look at the news, but the news is a perfect example. There's always some negative. The positive stuff is like glimpsed over, like maybe it gets 5 seconds of airtime, but most of the time, 21st there's a war here. What's going on there? Okay, who did this where? All this different stuff. And this, I'm not gonna get into politics, but because frankly, I don't like to get in that kind of stuff. It's not good for your subconscious. It's just all a whirlwind. But all these different things is distracting us from the fact, we're putting this in our subconscious. Oh no, wait, Super Bowl. Oh, okay, I'm late for work. And then it's just like you're so tied up in the bullshit that life puts in front of you that you can't even get to a place where you can resonate with yourself. You can't even be still enough to hear God's voice. You have to be still, be still and know that I am God. That's in the Bible. A lot of people miss that because a lot of people aren't still. They're rushing here, getting there. Wake up, I need my coffee, blast that. Don't even drink water first thing in the morning. So it's like these different things is what is actually separating us from God in the form of being able to hear our subconscious. But beyond that, with all that hustle and bustle in the outer world, in our inner world is so loud because what we're putting inside our inner world from the outer world with our conscious actions. So our conscious actions need to be redirected on a day-to-day basis, at least, with something that's going to make us feel calibrated. And you can start when you start small, doing little things. Yes, writing out your goals are good. Yes, journaling is good. Yes, reading these things are good. But unless we're actually practicing and exercising the things we want to do through creative expression, through, in whichever format, doing those different things, you're not going to get into that childlike wonder. You're not going to tap into that free flowingness. When you want to sit down and draw something or work on a craft or work on a project, are you sitting down and like, okay, before I draw this, let me YouTube or let me Google, how should I draw this? How should I do this? Or how should I build this, whatever I'm trying to build in my backyard, or this and that? No, you're just letting yourself flow. You're letting yourself express. You're letting yourself be free. You're letting yourself create. That's how God created, through imagination. So that's how we can create. We're made in God's image through our imagination. So when we let our imagination come forth and actually be free, be like a child, see the wonder in the world, explore that wonder, and feel that fulfillment, we're gonna feel more aligned. We're gonna feel like, okay, this is the beauty of life. It's not an intangible thing. It's not in achieving this point. It's not from getting from here to here. It's not from getting from X amount of year to this amount of year. No, it's the free flowing thought of being able to be truly yourself and be okay being yourself and not giving a damn what people say about that. So that is the key to feeling full fulfillment in your life. Stay true to yourself. Don't be afraid to do that, free flowing self-expression. It starts off scary. I mean, and it's going to come in waves, in and out of, overthought, but you can catch that thought. You can catch yourself in that thought and cast it away. You're in control. Your subconscious is just so used to what you've been feeding it. So it's almost like if you're sitting in mud, and the longer you're standing there, you begin to sink more and more and more. At first, wiggling your way up is going to be hard. But once you get closer and closer to the top, it becomes easier. And then once you're fully out, you can full sprint. But if you've been sitting in that mud for so long, you just sunk all the way down here. So you got to work your way up slowly but surely. So it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tiring. But you got to know that what's worse than the heart of that is the regret of not fulfilling the life you want to fulfill, not doing those things you want to do because you're too worried about what Tom, Dick, and Harry are going to think, and how is so-and-so going to view me, and what if no one likes this, or who cares, all that stuff. What you're seeking is not the validation of others in the outer world, especially in a world where you don't feel like you belong or you feel like you're constricted. You want to be able to just set your soul free. And as you do that more and more and more, and you start reflecting back what you want to see from the world within, once you start working on that, you're going to start naturally attracting those people. People are going to start seeing your light radiate. They're going to, why they change so much? You're going to look different to yourself. You're going to look different to other people because you're going through life. You're walking with strength. You're walking with peace. And you're walking in your light. All right, guys. That's it for the day. I'm gonna cut it short. Walk in your peace, walk in your light, and stay true to you.